Hey guys, YouTuber100 here. Alright, and now here I am to give my thoughts on Avengers Infinity War. So I went to see the movie last night, and I went like pretty late. I went to like a 9:15 showing, so by the time I got out it was already like close to midnight, and yeah, it was already past midnight by the time I got home. So I figured I would just wait until today to actually make the video to get my thoughts on the movie. And yeah, this was definitely like a really great movie. I mean, yeah, this was just like, wow. It was just absolutely insane. I mean, this was just like a really, really awesome film. I mean, it's of course like Marvel just always pulls this off, and this film was just no exception. It was really great. So, yeah, and like I told you guys before, this was like my most anticipated film of the year. And I had like really high hopes for this movie, and a lot of other people really did also, especially with this like being marketed as really just the culmination of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And so, yeah, I had really high hopes for this film, and this film actually like really like have like all the live up to all the anticipation for it. Well, yes and no is what I would say. Now, I say it because this film just really has really what has made like the Marvel movies really just so great. I mean, it was action packed, and it had like just a bunch of great characters in it, and it had like some really good humor to it from all the characters. And yeah, this film just had an enormous cast. I mean, this film had like just about like every character that has been like in this universe so far. I mean, yeah, it had like the Avengers, had Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Hulk. Although he's more Bruce Banner in this, I'll explain that in a minute. Yeah, had a Black Widow, also had a War Machine. There was Spider-Man, Scarlet Witch, Falcon, Vision, Winter Soldier, Doctor Strange, and yeah, they had all which is about all the Avengers. Also, Loki was in this film at the beginning, and yeah, you also had like all the Guardians of the Galaxy. You had Star Lord, Gamora, Drax, Rocket, Groot, Mantis. This, and so yeah, you had just about like all the Avengers, most of them anyway, and the Guardians of the Galaxy, all like in this film. Yeah, you did have a couple of Avengers not in this, like uh, Hawkeye, he wasn't in this film, and neither was Ant-Man. Yeah, there was a line in this film where Black Widow explains, like, after the events like Civil War and stuff, like, they took deals to, like, be under house arrest or something. I don't know. Yeah, and yeah, before that, I'll say, like, I just said that, yeah, in this video, it is going to contain spoilers for the film. I guess I just gave away, like, one right there. So yeah, I apologize for that, but yeah. Before you go any further with this is going to contain spoilers, so yeah, if you haven't watched the film yet, yeah, you may want to actually like save this video until like after you have watched the film if you really don't want to have any spoilers. And I'm sorry I just gave one, but yeah, if you really like don't want to have any spoilers if you haven't seen the film yet, wait till actually you watch the film to actually watch this video. Or else if you don't care about spoilers and if you're fine with it, you can like continue to watch this video still if you just don't care and haven't seen the movie yet. But yeah, just like anybody who doesn't want to be spoiled by anything, you may want to actually wait until you see the movie to watch this video. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, this film had just about like all the Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxy in this film, yeah, and just yeah, all the they're all like the roles are reprised by all the cast that has played them. Yeah, have Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Scarlett Johansson, and Benedict Cumberbatch, Don Cheadle, Tom Holland, Chadwick Boseman, yeah, as Black Panther, Paul Bettany, Elizabeth Olsen, Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan, Tom Hiddleston, and yeah, also you had uh, Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Batista, Bradley Cooper, Vin Diesel, and you also had Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts. And also in this film, you of course had Josh Brolin as Thanos. So yeah, this film had really an enormous cast to it. So yeah, and they really did like balance it out good. Yeah. So yeah, really that is why I say it did like meet the anticipation, like it live up to it, because yeah, it had just like all the cast and they're all great in this film, and it had just like great action and great uh, humor to it. So yeah, it had that. But the reason I kind of say no to it is because I don't know about all you guys, but really the story I was thinking this movie was gonna be, that's really not what this film was. I mean, yeah, like I was just saying, I mean, this film was really looked at as really the culmination of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And that's really not what this film really did come across as. I mean, rather than really the culmination, this film really just kind of just looked at to be like the opening half. Like, of course, like this film, well, not really the film, but the story that this film is telling, it's like broken up into two halves, and yeah, the other half, like the second film of the story, is going to be coming out next year. So yeah, really, this film just came across as kind of like just the opening half of this story for it, rather than really the culmination. I feel like the culmination is going to come in the next Avengers movie next year. But yeah, this film really was not really come across as the culmination. This is really just looked at as just like really the big story that has been led up to this since the Marvel Cinematic Universe began. And that's really more what this film was about. It wasn't really about like the culmination and like really all the characters like really joining up to like, well, they are kind of like joining up. Like, you do have like the Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxy banding together to really like stop Thanos and stuff. But at the same time, I mean, it's really not like they're all like teaming up and they actually do like end up saving the world and stuff. That's really not what you get in this film. And this is really just like more of Thanos actually looking for the Infinity Stones, and like in the end, he does end up actually like retrieving all the Infinity Stones, and he actually does look like he ends up winning. So yeah, that is really like what this film really turns out to be. And yeah, in this film you basically kind of have like a three groups of like the characters in this. Like first you have like Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man together, and eventually like they do come across like some Guardians of the Galaxy. Like they eventually end up like coming across Star-Lord, Drax, and Mantis in this film eventually. Yeah, and that's because Thanos is like he like sent some of his henchmen down to Earth to try to retrieve some of the Infinity Stones, and Doctor Strange is actually like carrying like one of the stones. He has what's it called, the Time Stone, and like they Doctor Strange ends up like being abducted, and like Spider-Man and Iron Man also like give chase to try to stop them from taking Doctor Strange, but they end up being like transported aboard the ship as well. You know, and so yeah, they end up like going off in the ship, and yeah, like I said, they eventually do like end up coming across Star Lord, Drax, and Mantis in this, yeah. And another group you have is like down on Earth. You basically have like the remaining Avengers. You have yeah, you have just about all the Avengers. You have like Bruce Banner. You have Captain America, Black Widow. You have War Machine, uh, Vision, and Scarlet Witch are down there. You have Falcon, Winter Soldier, or rather, a White Wolf is what he's called now in this film. Yeah, yeah. You basically have like all of them like down on Earth because they know that Thanos is like what his intentions are, so they're like down on Earth trying to stop any plans Thanos has down on Earth and stuff. And yeah, and like I was just talking about with the Hulk, he's really more just like Bruce Banner in this film. Like, it shows like he's trying to transform into the Hulk, but for some reason, like, he's unable to. And there's like a couple of points in this film where Bruce is like trying to shout at Hulk to come out, and Hulk actually does kind of like come out a little bit and just like screams no. So yeah, there's that. And also you do the third group you have is just like it has a Thor. He ends up like eventually coming across the Guardians of the Galaxy also, but he ends up taking like Rocket and Groot with him, and then they like set off in like another direction from the other Guardians of the Galaxy to try to find Thanos as well, to try to find some stuff that they need in order to stop Thanos. Yeah, and so yeah, and then yeah, throughout this film, you do have Thanos. He actually does end up like killing like quite the number of people in this. Like at the start of this film, like if you did see a Thor Ragnarok at the very end, like at the, well, like during like the mid credit scene, it did show like as the Thor and Loki and all the people aboard like that ship that they were on were traveling to Earth. Like it did show like Thanos' ship was approaching them, and then yeah, that's how this film opens up. Like it really much picks up right where that left off, and then Thanos actually did intercept the ship hip of the with Thor and Loki and stuff, and like yeah, then Thanos ends up like attacking Thor and Heimdall, Loki, Hulk, and all of them. Yeah. Yeah, and then yeah, Thanos ended up like extracting the space stone from the Tesseract, and then yeah, Thor ended up like being shackled up, and then it looked like Loki was going to actually join up with Thanos and his henchmen, but it showed that Loki was just trying to set Thanos up to kill him, but then like Thanos ended up catching Loki's intentions, and then he ended up killing Loki. So yeah, Loki was killed in this film. Yeah, and then like eventually, like when uh, at one point, like the Guardians of the Galaxy, Star Lord, Gamora, Drax, and Mantis, they eventually end up like spotting Thanos, and Thanos ends up catching them, and he like ends up like taking Gamora with him. And yeah, it's revealed in this film that Gamora is actually like Thanos' daughter. Yeah, and so he ends up like taking her away from Star Lord and Drax and Mantis and stuff. Yeah, and yeah, he ends up like getting out of Gamora where another Infinity Stone is because uh what is it Thanos ended up um he ended up actually holding a Nebula captive, and like he like just ended up like torturing Nebula in order to get out of Gamora where the Soul Stone was, and then then Gamora ended up like confessing to Thanos that the Soul Stone was actually on the planet Vormir. Yeah, and so then like Thanos ended up taking Gamora to Vormir with him, and then it showed that Red Skull was actually the keeper of the Soul Stone, and he told Thanos that the only way that he could actually retrieve the Soul Stone is sacrificing someone he loves, and so that ended up being Gamora, and so then Thanos ended up just throwing Gamora off a cliff down to her death, and so Gamora ended up being killed, and to be honest, I was actually kind of upset that Gamora was killed. I mean, I really didn't want to see any of the Guardians of the Galaxy get killed because they had only appeared in two movies prior, in the two Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So this is just their third film in this in the MCU compared to like the Avengers where they have a bunch, and then yeah, so I was hoping that they would get some more time, like the Avengers have, but yeah, this is just their third film, and so one of them get killed, so I was actually kind of upset Gamora got killed, so yeah, and then eventually, like, Nebula ended up escaping, and just asked the remaining Guardians to meet her on Titan, and so then, that was where, well, no, that's not where, but yeah, eventually, back with, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Spider Man, they like were like learning some more about where Thanos was going, and so they ended up like eventually coming across Star Lord, Drax, and a Mantis, and so then they ended up like joining forces, and then they ended up coming down onto Titan. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, this film really just like goes all around with like it's like showing the stuff with uh Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Spider Man, along, and then with Star Lord, Drax, and Mantis, and then yeah, it also goes to Thor, Groot, and Rocket together, and then they also end up eventually like encountering this uh they come across like another weapon another guy Tree, is that his name? He's like the king of dwarfs of Nidavellir, and he's played by Peter Dinklage, and apparently Thor actually did know him and stuff, and so then like yeah, then like Thor eventually ends up like retrieving a battle axe, which is enchanted, and it's like a new weapon for Thor. Horror after his hammer was destroyed, and also in this film, like Rocket ends up like giving Thor another eye. It's after like Thor lost his in Thor Ragnarok, and he just gave Thor like a new eye. Which yeah, I'm glad that like they chose not to go down the road just having Thor have that patch over his eye throughout the rest of this universe. I'm glad that they actually did give him another eye. Yeah. Yeah, and then yeah, they eventually end up like retrieving that axe and stuff. Yeah, and apparently like another Infinity Stone is actually in Vision's head. And like Vision actually does carry the Mind Stone on in his forehead, and apparently he actually did have it there in order have it there like his whole time and stuff. And yeah, apparently like Vision wanted a Scarlet Witch to actually kill him in order to destroy the Mind Stone to keep Thanos from retrieving it. Yeah, and also Captain America, and of course, like in this film, Captain America, he kind of has like a different appearance. Like he doesn't actually have the mask over his head. Like he doesn't have the mask like that. He just keeps his head uncovered, and yeah, rather than that shield. In this film, he has some gauntlets now rather than his shield, and yeah, he of course like has a full beard and stuff, and yeah, all that. Yeah, and yeah, then Captain America then just gave the suggestion that they could travel to Wakanda for some help from Black Panther for some possible resources that they could have to end up trying to remove the stone and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and it just goes like there's a bunch of stuff that just goes on in this film. Like people do get killed, and yeah, in this film, like Peter and Spider Man, whatever, he does like have like he ends up does wearing like that iron spider suit that Tony did like show him at the end of Homecoming and stuff. So yeah, he does end up like wearing that in this film. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, eventually he as their Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Spider Man, Star Lord, Drax, and Mantis are on a Titan. They then like end up trying to form a plan to actually remove the Infinity Gauntlet that had, and yeah, Thanos eventually ended up arriving on Titan. And yeah, and then like as Thanos was like trying to justify his plans to Doctor Strange to ensure the survival of like another universe that's threatened by overpopulation. Then like their group was like starting to try to subdue Thanos until Nebula finally arrived. Well, they were trying to subdue him and stuff, and Nebula eventually ended up arriving. And then yeah, she then just ended up like revealing what Thanos had did to Gamora, and then yeah, Star Lord of course he of course was like enraged, and then he just snapped, and then he then just like tried to kill Thanos, but then like after that then just like ended up like breaking the hold the team had on Thanos, and Thanos ended up like overpowering them. And then like as he was doing battle with Iron Man, he was just about to kill Tony, but then yeah, Doctor Strange then just told Thanos that if he does spare Tony's life, he will give him the Time Stone, and that is what happened. happened, and so then yeah, and of course like Iron Man wasn't happy that Doctor Strange did that, but yeah, Doctor Strange just told him there was no other way, and then Thanos then arrived on Earth, and then as like the group down on Earth arrived in Wakanda, and then like they tried to have a Shuri. He tried to like distract the Mind Stone from Vision, but then yeah, Thanos' army then invaded, and yeah, like all the Avengers that were there, along with like all of Black Panther's people at Wakanda. I'll just say that the Wakandan forces, and then like because Bruce couldn't transform into the Hulk, he then was like wearing the Hulkbuster armor. Yeah, they then were like doing battle with Thanos' army, and then eventually Thor, Rocket, and Groot then arrived on Earth, and then they were helping do battle. And Thor, of course, like had the new axe, and it was funny. At one point, of course, like Groot, like Thor was telling Captain America that he had some new friends, and Groot was like standing right next to Captain America. He like shouted, of course, "I am Groot," and Captain America responded with, "I am Steve Rogers." Rogers, yeah, yeah. Though, yeah, they then just end up doing battle, and then eventually Thanos then ended up arriving, and yeah, Scarlet Witch then like tried to destroy Vision, which it seemed that she did at first, but then like Thanos then arrived and then just like ended up bringing Vision back. Yeah, and then eventually like Thor ended up like real like severely wounding Thanos with the axe, but then yeah, Thanos actually did succeed in like removing the Mind Stone from Vision, ended up destroying Vision. Yeah, and then yeah, Thanos was then able to then activate like the Infinity Gauntlet now that he had all the stones, and then it just ended up and he teleported away and stuff, and then yeah, and then once like Thanos then ended up like teleporting away, it then like showed that like there were like all the well not all the characters but a lot of them then just ended up like being disintegrated away, like it a lot of the characters actually ended up like being disintegrated. It once Thanos had completed the Infinity Gauntlet, like uh, Bucky, Bucky or Winter Soldier or yeah, White Wolf, whatever you want to call him. He was disintegrated along with yeah Drax, Groot, Mantis, Scarlet Witch, Spider Man, Star Lord, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Falcon. Yeah, just about like a lot of the characters ended up just being disintegrated away, and it was like showing that the only ones that still were like like rem- were remaining, like on that Titan world, there was just Nebula and Iron Man left, and then on Earth there was still Bruce, M'Baku, Okoye, yeah, Rhodey, Rocket, Captain America, Black Widow, and Thor. They were the only ones left. Yeah. Yeah. And then, yeah, Thanos, then, it then just, like, ended with Thanos was now healed, and then he was just, like, on another planet, and he was just, like, really, like, watching the sunset in satisfaction with the Infinity Gauntlet. And then, yeah, the movie then just cut to credits, and then, like, of course, like, at the very end, like, after the credits, there was then this scene with, like, it showed that Nick Fury and Maria Hill, along with, like, other people, they ended up being disintegrated as well, but it showed that, uh, Nick Fury was, like, transmitting a distress signal, and it showed that the device that he was using, as he was disintegrated away, it showed that the device showed a star insignia with a red and blue background. So I'm not quite sure what that really means. Uh, I really don't know. Like, do any of you know like what that star insignia with the red and blue backing really means? Because I'm really not sure what it means, and I saw the film with my dad. He really didn't know. He didn't know what it meant either. So I'm not really sure what this meant. And so yeah, and I'm not really sure like what it means, and so yeah, I'm not really sure what to expect with the next Avengers film, which will like be a continuation from this. I don't know if this film will actually pick up like right where this one left off, because yeah, we still have there's still like two more movies for Marvel to be released before the next Avengers film. There's still Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel. So I'm not really sure like what to expect now. I'm not really sure what will happen next, and I'm not really sure like what everyone like actually did disintegrating actually means. I'm not sure if this like changes history or something. I'm not sure if like this is like similar to what happened in X-Men Days of Future Past after Wolverine changed the events. I'm not really sure like what this will actually mean. And so yeah, I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see because yeah, we still got those other two movies, Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel. And yeah, then I'm probably like they're gonna tie in with the remaining story that'll be in the next Avengers film. Maybe they'll still be around, and then yeah, they'll join forces with the remaining Avengers and Guardians and stuff, and then they'll just try to like stop Thanos again, and maybe then like as in the next film once like they doing battle with Thanos. Maybe throughout the film they'll have to like just do certain things, and as they do, like some of those characters that disintegrated will end up coming back. I'm not really sure what to expect next, but yeah, this really was not the story that I was expecting with this film. Well, not really. I shouldn't say that, but not really what the take on it I was expecting. Like not the culmination or anything. So yeah, it's really just like the opening half of like this two-part story that'll be continued in the next Avengers film. But yeah, this is still like a really great film. I still do recommend it. I mean, like I said before, or like it does have like everything that really has made the Marvel movies so great. I mean, just action-packed and filled with great jokes and just all that stuff. So yeah, if you're really looking for just what really does make the Marvel movies so great, I mean, you'll definitely get that in this film. Like, there's no doubt it definitely does have all the elements that have made the Marvel films so great. But yeah, if you're really looking for like everything that the Marvel movies have been working towards since they began, that's really not what you're going to get in this film. This is really just like Thanos really seeming to really overmatch the Avengers, and he ends up actually defeating them. But yeah, like I said, this may end up This will probably end up continuing in the next Avengers film next year, and I am kind of upset that with the way with like how this film ended, I am kind of upset that we do have to wait like a whole nother year to see like what happens next with these characters and the story. So that does kind of upset me. But yeah, it is still a great film, and maybe we'll get some more tie-ins with the other two movies being released this year with Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel. So we'll just have to wait and see what tie-ins we may get with the other two movies, and if it will end up like getting us to, well, yeah, what will actually happen next year with the next Avengers film where the story will continue. So yeah, I guess we'll just need to wait and see. Alright, but anyway, yeah, this film is definitely like highly recommended. It is definitely like a really great film. I'm not really sure if I can say this is really the best Marvel film ever. I do really like the first Avengers a lot, and of course, like as I said before, I really do love Ant-Man, so I really don't know. Maybe this could be on par with Civil War, but I really don't know yet. But yeah, definitely a really great film nonetheless. Alright, so yeah, those are my thoughts on Avengers Infinity War. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed what I had to say about this. And yeah, let me know what you guys saw of the movie once you've seen it. Whether you've seen it as I'm posting this video, or like I said earlier in the video, if you hadn't seen it yet, when you do see it, then like send me a message or comment on my channel. Tell me what you thought of the movie. Alright, so yeah, that's all. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Avengers Infinity War. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And yeah, I'll probably like later on today I may do another video to give my thoughts on the Greatest Royal Rumble, since I had seen that now and I told you I was going to make a video on that. And probably in that I'll also then talk about my plan for May, since May starts tomorrow. But so yeah, that video on the Greatest Royal Rumble, that may come up either later today or tomorrow, whenever. So stay tuned for that coming up. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.